there, this is Vampire Logan here. I'm just doing an update to my Blizzard is Doomed video that I did a few days ago. This was before the news on Microsoft buying Blizzard. So I just wanted to kind of go over my notes on that and update based on the new information, and just talk a bit about what's happening with that and what could happen with that. One sec here. Let's make sure my volume is working. Alright, it seems to be working. Okay, let's check over here. Yes. Okay. So, first thing I said last time was, I mean, the idea here is that Blizzard, before knowing about the Microsoft thing, I thought that Blizzard was kind of doomed just with the current direction they were going, the lawsuits, the lowering of their stock price, and all the bad decisions they're making with the various games, World of Warcraft and Overwatch especially. But in light of the new information, they still need to do some things in order to save the company, but it's a lot less likely that they're going to just go away. Not when Microsoft bought them for $69 billion or whatever. That's a ridiculous amount, but they probably got a bargain on that based on the possible worth of all of the Activision titles combined, and then Blizzard as well. They probably just really got a who knows how much all that is worth, but I suspect they got a really good deal out of that. Kind of like when Disney bought Marvel, they didn't, they paid a lot of money for it, but now just with all the success that's had, has made them, 10, maybe 100 times what they paid for it. So I think the same thing is going to happen here with Blizzard and Microsoft. So the first thing that I had said last time was so here I have a list of things that Blizzard should do in order to save the company. It's kind of not so necessary for saving the company now, but still there are things that they should do. First one, top of the list, was fire Bobby. And I had mentioned that, they would have to pay some amount of millions of dollars to get him out of there. But I figured it was worth, at the time I figured it was worth the cost, that he had already cost them so much just making all the decisions that kind of got them there. Granted, he did, make a lot of decisions that made the company what it was. He's been there 31 years, so he's definitely brought them up and brought them down. But now with the Microsoft thing, he's basically, now it's going to basically cost them, I guess, about $300 million. I'm not sure if all of that goes from them or if it's part of his stock options, and maybe that's more like $400 million now because of the stock price immediately going up like ridiculous amount based on just Microsoft buying them. I wish I'd gotten in on that. I was actually thinking of buying the stock just because it was heading downward so far, but I wanted to wait and see how far down it was going to go. Looks like I should have bought, but yeah, that's stocks for you. Anyway, so he's going to get paid out no matter what. He doesn't have to be fired now. He's basically going to be, if they're going to let him keep running the company until the deal is closed. But then he's gone, according to some sources that say that, and I'm pretty sure they're true. He will get his huge full payout, though. There was one case where if he got fired with cause, he would only get like 200K or something like that, but highly unlikely they're going to go that route, given that he's been there so long, and there would be a big legal battle, and nobody really wants that. So these guys are all rich guys. They don't really care about what he's done or if it can be proved. It's just he made them a lot of money, so they're just gonna give him his severance check of however many $100 million it is, and out the door he'll go when the deal closes in 2023, I think it is. So the following year. This is a little bit of a conversation they had with him on CNBC. This is mostly BS. I don't think any of this means anything, but just going to play a little bit of the conversation.
For $400,000. Now looking at a valuation again, this deal values it at about $80 billion. How did this happen? How did you get to this place?
Well, look.
She just said that he bought the company originally for $500,000, which is ridiculous. That's when he was at Activision, and Activision bought out Blizzard. And now they're valued at, and this is just Blizzard, I think they're talking about, is valued at 80 or 90 billion dollars on its own. And so just considering that Microsoft bought, maybe they're talking about Activision and Blizzard, but in any case, valued at 90 billion right now, even with all the bullshit happening, Microsoft bought them for 69 or 70 billion. Ridiculous deal there, just billions of dollars. So giving him a few $100 million is kind of like a drop in the bucket there. So
we've had a partnership with Microsoft that goes back to the launch of the Xbox.
Yeah, here's him bullshitting that he had planned this originally. Maybe it has been going on for a while, but I think it's fairly recent.
The beginnings of what the Metaverse will be like.
Oh, this fucking guy, man.
For the Metaverse, it started to become apparent that there were a variety of resources and talent that we needed in order for us to continue on that.
I don't know what the fuck he's talking about. He's so irrelevant now. Basically, he's talking about some, I don't know, idea that he had about creating a, I don't know, cross-game metaverse or something. I don't think anybody wants this or even knows what it is and what they're talking about. It's just this dream he had, I think. And Phil, the new CEO, or the guy who runs Microsoft Gaming, he's kind of lets him talk about that, or talks about it a bit himself, but I think they don't really care about it. And just this whole thing of him like talking still about it,
we realized that now is a perfect time for a combination.
Phil.
Yeah, he's so full of bullshit. He's got, I don't even know why he's still talking. Like, why are they asking him any questions? He's immediately, by making this deal, he's immediately way less relevant to what's going to happen in the future. He may make some decisions now, but he now has to run those decisions by Microsoft, so he really doesn't get to control anything anymore. And I think really, like, nobody's going to say this, but really what a lot of people are thinking is just take your fucking money and shut the fuck up. Like, just get the hell out of there. Stop talking about it. Just run out your time on the clock and then just leave. Like, everybody's so sick of hearing about this guy and all the shit he did, ignoring the situation that was happening with him under his nose in the company, with his friends, getting caught with doing terrible, disgusting things, and him still trying to defend them, keep them in the company. Like, this guy's a POS. There's no question about it. So I don't really want to hear much more about him, but I'll just see if there's something else.
When did those conversations start, and what kind of got you to the point that you're willing to commit this kind of money to a deal like this?
Yeah, He needs to get
as
out.
Bobby said, we talk all the time about the future of this amazing business.
I'm sure they
3
do.
billion gamers on the planet today, people playing in all regions, creators coming from everywhere, and we're always sharing our strategy with our partners and talking to them about their feedback. And I think we've always just had a good connection with the team at Activision Blizzard about where we're trying to go. But honestly, this is a deal that happened pretty quickly. Like I'd say,
he just
we really
confirmed it.
formative.
This deal happened pretty quickly, whereas Bobby is saying, we've always been working on this deal. It's been a long time coming. Yeah, he wants to save face. This guy's saying nope.
Discussions about this specific opportunity late in the year, and we just felt like now was the right time to add the right resources and capability to both companies.
Is now the time, in part because Activision shares had been down? They were down about 27% for the year to date.
Yeah.
Did that make this an easier deal to kind of get your head around?
I think as Bobby said, when we look at the competitive
around.
set that's out there, we look at the importance to us at Microsoft Gaming of people
Yeah,
playing
there
on
we go.
mobile.
Look at this chart. Their stock price was down in the fucking gutter here. Started to come back a little bit after it. This is all from the scandal and other bad game design decisions. And then this is coming up a little bit. Maybe they think people are believing their bullshit about fixing the problem. A little bit back down because he's just, every time he opens, not this guy, but Bobby. Every time Bobby and some of the other people open their mouth about the game, they lose money. And then this is like skyrocketing when the news of Microsoft buying them. I wish I'd gotten in on that. And it's almost back up to the, near the peaks. So I have no doubt it'll get back up here. I mean, it still might be worth it to buy. But yeah, he's basically talking. Translation of what he's saying is, we got a fucking good deal and it was a great time to buy. We knew this was gonna happen, so if we buy it, it's immediately gonna go up, and they know that they can buy it for cheap down here, goes back up. They immediately, just by buying it, they made, what's the difference of this chart? This is like 67, 70. So at 70, jumps up to almost 90. Like that's like somewhere around a 25% boost. So not only did they get it for cheaper, but it immediately became 25% more valuable when they made the announcement. Just by making an announcement, they didn't do anything to improve anything. Just the possibility of them improving something increases the value of what they just bought. Driving it off the lot increased in value by 20%, 20 to 25%, is like such a great deal. They're coming out like bandits. Freaking Bobby's getting his paycheck and doesn't give a shit, I'm sure, about the company anymore. He only cares about the bottom line. Freaking Metaverse bullshit. And then that's just what all these business people do.
Need with great IP. We really saw this
Everything
as an
he
amazing
says here
because
is just
gaming's
BS.
continued growth over the years. Microsoft's big on gaming. We're continuing to invest here, and we see it as a real strong catalyst for us in the consumer categories.
So all Microsoft really cares about is getting their Game Pass to be more valuable. So everybody just signs up to give Microsoft $10 a month for the rest of their lives, and then they'll be just rich and they can not care about what the quality. I don't know if this is going to improve the quality of the games, but it may take some pressure off of the individual developers, because they're just basically making games for Game Pass and Microsoft's footing the bill. So I think it's probably a win-win for all concerned. But everything they say about caring about the future of gaming, and all they care about is are they making a shit ton of money. Subscription services are where it's at. I'm surprised that freaking Blizzard didn't know or understand this. Like, why did they make Overwatch, a box price? Why are all their games come out with an initial price, and you buy the box, and then you also you buy the box and you pay the subscription? But they already knew subscription is where it goes. I don't know why they didn't try that with Overwatch. Maybe just because not enough people would buy it, but some kind of like continuous payment thing is where all these people want to be.
Bobby, there have been a series of reports in the Wall Street Journal that raise questions just about sexual harassment at the company and how it's been handled. Those reports have kind of questioned whether you've really looked into.
So he gives a BS answer of caring about that shit, which is obviously true that he doesn't care, because he tried to support his friends from being wrapped up in it, trying to protect them, even though they were definitely doing it. He gives a BS answer, and then the other guy gives a BS answer saying that, we're gonna make sure to put a stop to that. It's already been had a stop put to it, so he doesn't need to say anything. They've already fired all the people that could have been involved in it, and even despite Bobby's efforts to try and keep his friends in there, it's already been done. Like, there's nothing they need to do about this. This is an easy answer for them.
Look forward to supporting them in that plan through the closing of this deal. And then post-close, we know that the most important thing to a creative organization is that the employees feel safe, they feel heard, so they can do their best work. There's nothing that's more important to us.
All right, first, Bobby, it's Jim. Congratulations.
Except money.
It's a great deal for you and shareholders.
Thank you very much, Jim.
Sure. Let me ask you a question about how many
His dead eyes, man. This guy.
Because a lot of people are saying big three, therefore going to be FTC issues. They're going to be concerned about concentration in gaming. At the same time, I've been saying that there's a gazillion companies in this business, and the idea that there's some sort of protection that's needed for gamers seems a little silly. How many people do you think are in the universe that are doing what you do?
God, what an idiot. Okay, this is a stupid question. I'm going to skip this. This guy just doesn't understand. He doesn't understand antitrust, and he doesn't understand what gaming is. How many people are there in the universe? Maybe we should just talk about Earth. The gaming industry is huge, of course, but there are really large companies in it that are kind of taking over all the small companies, and EA is one of them, Microsoft is one of them, Sony, Activision Blizzard used to be one of them. They're turning into these giant conglomerates of companies, and in some cases that does help protect individual developers and give them support, but it also makes them beholden to people making decisions that don't really understand the industry or the game or what is important. All they are looking at is how do they keep getting the gamers to keep pressing the feeder button and giving them the money, and not having them all get upset and leave. So I think Microsoft is a little more clued into this than Activision Blizzard was, so it should be a net positive for that. But again, the bottom line is still money, and this is coming from someone who works in the game industry, and I've seen many really good games die on the table because of decisions from people like this. I worked at Capcom and in Vancouver before they shut everything down. I was on a team that was kind of protected from that, so we were still in the office after everybody was booted out, and we got moved to a smaller new office thinking we were all safe, and then 6 months later we also got canned, and so decisions get made, and they're not based on people's lives. They're not based on anybody's love of gaming or the quality of the games, or even what's currently on what has the best potential to be successful as a game. It's all just what is the bottom line, and is it easier to just close this thing, kill it, and be done with it. And so, and no offense to Capcom, they gave me an amazing severance, best severance I've ever had at any company I've ever worked at. So they really treated their employees well, and I was only just sad not to see any of the work that I'd put in for over a year get out the door and anybody actually see it. So for me, that's just a personal, professional thing, but for a lot of people is that a lot of people care about their games and don't like having them sidelined or thrown away and treated like garbage. So and those decisions are out of your control, and when the larger the company that controls those decisions, the more removed they are from the bottom line and the passion and the creativity of the people creating those things. So no offense to big companies, but they do work a certain way, and they're good for certain things, and they're also not good at other things. So it is what it is. But this question is stupid. I'm not even going to listen to it. So let's close that, and then we're talking here.
$5, which is kind of surprising. This is a cash deal, $95. The only thing you can guess is that people think there will be some regulatory back and forth. Maybe it takes
they're still talking about that.
Past the regulators with some of these things. Andrew Ross Sorkin had reported earlier that he was hearing that there was a $3 billion breakup fee. Is that the case? Because I would guess that means that you all think you have this under control.
We're confident in our timeline for getting the deal closed. We think it'll close in our fiscal year 23. We're planning for that. We're really looking forward to getting to work directly with the teams at Activision Blizzard. I think that's where all of our focus is right now, working with Bobby to ensure that over the next 18 months during the close, the business continues to perform, that we're set up for that close where we can work directly together on the future of gaming.
Let's talk about the things that you guys actually see. What promises?
Okay, so having been through these before, these market company takeovers and stuff like that, I went through one in a smaller company on a smaller scale, but it was fine. But a lot of things get I don't know. A lot of people get they're trying to say it's all going to be nice and good, but there's a lot of people who go through a lot of stress over these, and a lot of people will get let go, and some people will get kept that shouldn't be kept, and other people will get let go that shouldn't be let go. Some people will leave. Some people will be worried about what they're going to do to their games. I mean, with Activision Blizzard, it's a lot of it is just going to be they're going to keep doing business as usual because they're so big, and their games are so strong and able to, their franchises, they're well-known games. There's probably some sideline games in here that may just get canned or not get noticed or get thrown in the gutter because they were just nobody knows what's going to go on with them. But I suspect this transfer it's going to be a longer one and slower, and so I think things will get worked out, and people will there'll be a lot of meetings and decisions made. But it's going to be stressful for a lot of the people who work at the company on the lower level, and who knows what Bobby's going to do before he leaves, if he decides to get rid of some people he didn't like for a long time. He still has power, but I think they've treated him pretty well with the severance and whatnot that was already built in his contract, so they kind of had to do it. But he's going to be fine. And then once this closing happens, I guess in the 18 months, he'll be out. I don't know if they say here, but I think they've already said that. I think that's a bit of a blow to his ego, so at least anybody who doesn't like him, like I do, can probably say that, there's at least something, right? But, he's going to be fine. The people are probably going to be fine, mostly. And, it's mostly a positive thing. I mean, it can't get much worse for games like, World of Warcraft, and even from the announcement, they're saying they're starting to talk about things like StarCraft again. I mean, that's really cool. I'd love to see something more done with that. It's been kind of left by the wayside. And Microsoft did really good things with, I think it was Age of Empires or something like that. So RTS is on their radar, and having all the expertise and people that work at Microsoft in gaming. There's a lot of knowledge there that can be shared, so I think they'll be fine, and they'll be able to get something, cool and you know, so there'll be some good things, some positive things that should happen from that.
As you think there are from this, and Bobby, I'll start with you. We talk about the metaverse all the time, but I have to admit, I don't really understand it. I don't know what it means.
Nobody knows what it means.
What do you need in order for your games to kind of translate into the metaverse?
Well, if you think about really, not the Neil Stephenson snow crash vision of the metaverse, but the natural evolution of what the metaverse
he doesn't know what you're talking about still.
It's a collection of communities that are anchored by franchises that will start with gaming. So whether it's a Call of Duty or World of Warcraft or Candy Crush, those franchises that have hundreds of millions of players are going to form the basis for what ultimately we think will be this large, vast virtual world that's usable on any display device with a microprocessor. In order to get there, though, and this is really a big part of the motivation of the transaction, is that you're going to have a cloud that is purpose-built for those kinds of experiences.
That is fucking stupid. Okay. Nobody wants their Candy Crush mixing with their Call of Duty or their Overwatch or their World of Warcraft. This is one of the stupidest things that I thought about what Blizzard, one of their stupid decisions was. And I could totally tell when the frustration with people like Jeff for Overwatch. You know, the head company, so Blizzard management, and then all the way up to Bobby at Activision management, wanted to have a global thing that kind of controls everything. So the reason that Overwatch couldn't put in a guild system was because they wanted to tie it into all the guild system. You know, all their games should have a common guild system and use a common interface and have a common cloud and a common database. And it's dumb. It doesn't make any sense. The needs of a game like Overwatch versus like what the needs of WoW, which are kind of similar, but not. And then for something like Candy Crush, it doesn't make, no one wants that. No one wants a community that I can go on and then talk about Overwatch and then also talk about Candy Crush. No one wants that. There's no like need for a guild that is going to involve those things. So I know this comes from him. This is his kind of vision, and I hope this dies really soon and is not a thing that they're looking for. But I mean, you just have to get away from this. There's maybe like behind the scenes, this can be something to just make the tools easier to use, but we don't need one place. We don't need one world where all these things exist, because they just don't mesh together.
And Jim pointed out a little earlier, cybersecurity is going to be much more important than ever before in the way that people are going to be able to interact with each other, but also to protect that personal information. And I think Microsoft has done a better job of almost any company that I know of in really building out that cybersecurity capability. But so when you think about examples of over the long term what that metaverse will look like, there are things that Microsoft has, like Teams, where you'll now actually be able to integrate the idea of audio and video while you're playing games and sharing your experiences. They have the beginnings of what will be an ultimately great creator economy like Minecraft, where you'll be able to create content that both can be commercialized or shared, and that will be all part of what will be this great virtual world connected by these franchises of games.
Yeah, that's bullshit. I can see like having tools. That makes sense. Making a variety of tools, but not all the tools are going to fit the situation. Like you can make a tool that can allow people to, be able to like set up like tournaments or something. That's one of the things I think is really important for Overwatch. But do you really need to set up tournaments of Minecraft? I mean, Minecraft is very creative. You can set up things for people to share, maybe sell stuff, blocks of sets of blocks that are already set up in like a house and stuff like that. Getting people to be able to do that and trade them and do stuff with it. It makes sense, but they don't need it to be over all their games. This is, and it can't even really be built that way. Without it being very generic. I went. The thing I was working on at Capcom was very much like this, where they wanted to have this platform of stuff to do. I should be careful with what I can say. Actually, I just won't say anything about that. But basically, the idea is that if you want to have tools and you want to work on multiple games and franchises that are vastly different in player base and style, you need to have they need to be specific to those things and have specific features. The more you try to make it general, the less useful it's going to be, because some things are only needed by the game itself, some things are needed by multiple games, but trying to make a set of tools that covers everything is just a huge time waster, and every time people have tried to do it, it fails. So maybe there's really smart people in Microsoft doing this. Maybe they've already got something that kind of does that stuff. Cool, but calling it Metaverse is just confusing, and it doesn't really make any sense. Alright, so we're off that. Yeah, this guy, he's going to make this huge payment after going through a scam. Ugh, look at him. So smug. Alright, anyway, enough about him. Let's go on to the other stuff I talked about in my previous video. Oh yeah, one more thing about this. Antitrust. Like, that's kind of Microsoft's bane. I don't think that's going to go anywhere. It's a big talking point for regular media, but they don't need to. I don't think they need to worry about it as far as gaming goes. They'd have to get a lot more companies for that to start to become a concern. And also, it's like these things are global now. There's not going to be really a lot of way that the US, who's big on doing the antitrust thing and big on attacking Microsoft that way, I don't think they're going to be able to do anything about it when it's all global. So they can just move the stuff they don't want US to mess with out of the country, and that's bad for US anyway. So I don't think that's going to be a problem, and they obviously don't want to talk about it, so don't even mention it, I think, is probably what they would prefer. But yeah, so let's go back to what I was talking about before. So in my last video, so I talked about they have to get rid of Bobby. I think that's kind of covered now. They have to, and maybe this is still true, they should hire or promote a woman in the sole leadership position. For reals this time, not just the kind of bullshit thing that Bobby tried to do where they hired a woman, made her co in charge with the guy, and then the guy has all the power and the girl's just there and gets paid less than him, which is the stupidest thing they could have done for the press that generated, and the amount of like backlash they got from that. Or I think, and this may not be suitable now at this point, but hiring Jeff Kaplan back and putting him in charge. I think Jeff could probably handle Overwatch and possibly most of the other Blizzard games, but going all the way up to handling all of Activision, that's not really what he's good at. He's a game designer, and keeping him focused on games is probably going to be the thing. So my previous statement of this is, I think it still stands. They should put a woman in charge of this, just to kind of put the final stake in the problem of the way women have been treated. But I think people already are accepting that Microsoft is not going to put up with that BS, and it's a bigger company and they'll have better standards and stuff. So I don't think this may be as necessary as it was when I last talked about it. So it would be nice, but now it's kind of like a wish list item. And then the next thing they need to do, and these are all Overwatch related. I was going to talk about WoW at some point, but then the acquisition happened, so there's a different narrative about that now. And also, I kind of defer to Asmongold. If you haven't checked him out, he's kind of on top of that. He knows the most about WoW out of the popular streamers right now, so I would just go watch his comments on these things. Yeah, go to Asmongold TV on YouTube. And but for Overwatch, so the most important things I think they needed to do for that are, number one, get Overwatch 2 sorted out. Stop calling it a sequel. Nobody's fooled by that. It's not a sequel. That was kind of Jeff's big thing, is maybe he was being pushed by corporate, but all their eggs were in this basket of Overwatch 2 kind of being the new product that sells 1 billion copies and brings them back from the brink. The way Blizzard used to operate is they wanted the initial sales of the game to be the thing that makes it a hit and makes it make enough money for them to not shut the door on it. It was dumb. It was short-sighted. They needed to have stopped this like years ago. It's behind the times. People don't want to pay a big upfront cost for a game. And Overwatch 2 is not really going to be a sequel anyway. It's just changing the game, but it still looks the same. It's got one less player. It's not enough to change it to be a whole new game. So they should get rid of Overwatch 2. Stop talking about it. Just make it an expansion pack for Overwatch 1 with all the PvE stuff that's really cool. Or maybe make that another game and just call it another game. Like, don't call it Overwatch 2. Call it Overwatch, story, or Overwatch, whatever you want to call it. It's basically an RPG of Overwatch with leveling and stuff. So whatever you want to call that, give it a new name, put it on the side, and sell it separately, or sell it as a pack inside Overwatch. And get that thing out the door as soon as possible. People have been waiting for this thing for like 3 years. Like, it's still, this statement still stands, I think, the same, whether it's Microsoft or not, or regular Blizzard. So Microsoft should make this call and make them do it. But now it's kind of not as urgent, which kind of sucks, because I kind of wanted this to be done with. But now they can, because they've got this big influx of money that I'm sure Microsoft will be able to put into things, and they're not likely to go out of business. Maybe that wasn't a thing before, but their stock prices was scaring a lot of people. Now that that's back up and people are confident that they're going to be around, it should be easy for Microsoft to say, we want, whether they want Overwatch 2 or not, I guess is up to them. But I think Microsoft mainly cares about the Game Pass right now. They want people to pay monthly to just get all their games. So Overwatch 1 can go into that, and all the other Blizzard games can go into that, and then you get it and you just keep paying. I don't know how I feel about that if I just want to play the one game, but because they have so many games, it's kind of like, I guess it's fine. I don't know what else they could do now. I mean, they could take longer now and make a real sequel. But I kind of don't think people... I mean, that would be fine for them. They could do what they want. And they don't have to worry about the timing anymore. But I think the timing is important in order to keep the audience. So if they are going to make an actual sequel or another game or whatever, they need to get that, at least talk about it. Let us know what they want to do. Like, let the fans know. If the fans know it's not going to come out in, this year or next year, but they're going to do something for Overwatch 1, then I think people will be happy with that. Their deal is going to conclude in 2023, so I don't think they're going to make any big moves until next year, which sucks for people playing Overwatch right now. And that leads me to... So I don't know what else they could do. there's lots of other game ideas they could do with Overwatch, or now that they have some backing, maybe doing an Overwatch show. I mean, look at the success of Arcane. That show was freaking awesome. Anybody who hasn't watched that yet, go watch Arcane. It's an example of how a gaming license, which has very, I don't think League of Legends had that much lore behind it, but putting that show and making a bunch of lore and getting really good writers, really good animators, and putting together a cool show using the characters and the kind of a prequel nature of it, it not only helped, like, it sells good on its own because it's amazing, and it brought a lot of people, I'm sure, to Netflix to watch it. That's also a seller for that game. Like, I didn't even like League of Legends, and after watching that, I was like, made me second. I still haven't played it, but made me second guess, like, maybe there is something to this game. I really like those characters now. So Overwatch already has interesting characters. They already have backstory. They already have lots of lore, but they haven't been able to progress anywhere with it. And it's been like 6 years or something. Was it 2015, 16? Yeah, it's almost 5 or 6 years. And they haven't, like, the story started with Overwatch had been previously shut down, and then Winston was putting out the call to get everybody back. But they haven't even finished that. They haven't even, like, officially said that Overwatch is restarted and has now got all the people back and doing things to help the world. It's like there's nothing about it. We don't know. Like, the game has not progressed in any way with the story. So I would say do a show and tell us the story. Like, I mean, I don't really want to see more origin stuff because that's all they ever talk about in the game. But tell us the story from where we heard about it in the start of the game and to now. Like, what's happening in the game now? Like, just get a current situation. Maybe that's what they're thinking of doing in Overwatch 2. But let's see that story. Let's get it out. Let's get it into a show or a game. Now, Overwatch. The next thing I had in mind was in my last video was Overwatch 1 needs to be sorted out now. You can't wait for another year on this. This still stands, I think, even with Microsoft in charge. But it needs to get going this year. They can't just wait until the deal closes. I think most of the following things just become easier now that there's backing behind the finances of it. Like, I don't think they have to worry about money anymore. So maybe they can hire. I think a lot of people are going to be willing to work for the company again now that just the idea that it's not the old company that it was, even though that's probably already true. Now they have kind of backing and clout behind it. So the things I said about that are they need to start a schedule for the new content right now for Overwatch 1. They got to get some content coming in. This is going to help the game, the players, and the content creators. And if you don't start doing something with it, it's going to die, or it's going to at least lose some of its viability if something doesn't get done to keep it alive. If they want to go to 5v5 for Overwatch 2, I think get rid of Overwatch 2, and if you want to do 5v5, do it now and get it into the game and start regular balance changes. There's no reason not to do this now, because before the reason was they were saving everything for Overwatch 2, but if everything's just going to Game Pass anyway, who cares? Who cares about Overwatch 2 now? Get it in the game and get it being worked on. Like, get people to be testing it, get it, in there. They already have to do that, I think, for the Overwatch League. Now that this, I think they probably knew that this deal was coming, so that's probably why they scheduled this to be in for Overwatch League. So I think this may already be happening. But the one thing I have to say about 5v5 is, personally, I don't like it. I like Overwatch the way it is. I like having 2 of each class in. It seems easier to balance, and trying to balance the game for 5v5 seems like a lot of wasted time is going to happen trying to make that work. And it's going to be unbalanced because tanks are going to have to do a lot more. Just having only one of them. Or they're going to have to do a lot less and just be more generic like the other classes. So I don't know if it's great. It changes the game. But it doesn't matter. Just commit to it or not. Just get it in the game now and get people to start playing with it. Because what it's doing right now is having this possible other mode is that people don't know whether to keep playing Overwatch or not, because they're going to have to relearn everything once 5v5 comes along. Honestly, if it was up to me, I would just see what the Overwatch League wants and what is best for them, and then just do that. And then let the players join in as they feel. If it makes Overwatch League more fun to watch and less hassle to run and hassle to make, or if the balance is easier, I don't know. But just do what they need, and then it'll trickle down to the community. Community probably doesn't really care. They just want to see it in the game now. They don't want to be dicking around with what's currently working. Now, the next thing I had was skins could be done as a quick show of faith. I mean, that's still true. Just get some skins in the game. They're already still doing that, I guess. And then get some new characters in to I said previously to prove it's not just lip service, because I was talking about saving it, but now that doesn't really matter. They can just put new characters in the game. There's no mandate anymore to save things for Overwatch 2, because I don't think Microsoft is going to keep up with that, box price out of the gate idea anymore. And then once those things are done, basically we need to fix comp. This is still the most important part as far as Overwatch goes. But I don't know if the Microsoft deal helps or hinders this. I don't know if they can do anything about comp or care to until they get the deal closed. So I think this is probably going to suffer for a little bit longer until they can start giving some real direction to the game. So I think we're stuck with what we've got for another year probably. But again, the stuff I had said before was we need a way to play comp as a real team game. Give up on comp being part of being for casuals. Just make it a competitive game, and then give us a way to group up and team up, guilds or whatever you want to call it. I mean, I hope that the Bobby idea of having this global guild and community building system is not something that Microsoft really cares about, because I want to group up and play in Overwatch. I don't want to group up and play in Overwatch and WoW and however many million games Microsoft has and how many games Activision has. It's like, I don't care about that stuff. I just want my Overwatch to be able to group up and guild. And then we need named teams and team-based SR and MMR. And in comp, that needs to be the only thing that matters. You don't want to give individual SR and MMR in comp, because it's a team game and the team affects how you win and lose more than the individual players do. And that's the way this game works right now, and probably even in 5v5. So I know in 5v5 it's probably more individual, based, but it's still going to be 5 people and 5 people. It's just, you gotta have it has to be something to do with teams. There's no way to carry in this game, and I think even less way to carry in 5v5 from what I've seen so far. So carrying is just not something you can do. So your solo SR should not be dependent on 5 other people and you having to be a super powerful smurf in order to level up. And then another thing is player organizations, letting the players run tournaments and give them support to do it properly. Letting the player organizations police for the smurfs and the throwers and the griefers, which are mostly part of comp. Allow the players to, make their own money from tournaments as incentive to weed out non-serious players, Smurfs and whatnot. Well, Smurfs will still be a problem, but all these things, I don't know if Microsoft is going to care about or help with. So these are probably just going to not have anything change on them. I don't think Blizzard now has any incentive to actually do anything until Microsoft takes over. So I have a feeling Overwatch is going to languish for another year as far as these things go. Comp anyway. Doing something about bad players, I don't know, maybe Microsoft has some ideas on that, but there's a lot of griefers and BS in comp. And then better rewards for playing, I don't know, maybe they can tie in something to the to the Game Pass at some point and give you non-Overwatch based rewards, points that allow you to buy another game or something. I don't know. That stuff needs an overhaul, and I don't know what else can be done with it. And then the other thing I had said in the previous video was response to streamers saying that Overwatch is dead. I mean, now that Microsoft has taken over, I don't think it was dead in the first place, but now it's definitely not dead because they're not going to let it just die. But how long is it going to take to get there? Who knows? I mean, we've been waiting this long. We can wait longer, I guess, as long as it changes for the positive. And I don't know if Microsoft is going to make it positive changes or not to Overwatch. It could. It probably should. It seems likely. And it seems like they might listen to the developers more than the management. But you never know with those types. They can kind of stick together and talk about money making more than they talk about how the game is fun. But both can be done, though. I mean, I work in the game industry. I know it's a business, and I would love it to have both those things be done. And they can be. The things I'm talking about can make money and make it better for the players. So I guess whether, this stuff about streamers and the player base will really depend on how fast they can move to make changes, to the output and the developer interaction with the community. That needs to increase with Blizzard, so maybe Microsoft can push in that direction. Can they capitalize on the hype and excitement of this change to keep the game alive long enough to bring it back to its previous glory? I don't know. It's hard to say. The game's still got enough people to keep queue times at a reasonable limit, at least at the level I play at, which is bronze silver. It's currently in a good balanced state, so I don't know what can be done to improve that. I mean, obviously there's a lot of bored Smurfs ranking up and down in there in comp, but in general the game's pretty balanced. Streamers say there's no content. Well, I guess they have content now to talk about this merger, what might happen. They can speculate for days now on what could change with Microsoft. I don't think we'll know anything for quite a while, though. And then highlighting player-created content more. I mean, that's just still the same advice to streamers. Just interact with your audience. Just same advice for Blizzard. Interact with your audience. Let's get involved and do player-run things. I mean, the streamers can solve some of the problems I was talking about up here with... Oh, you guys can't even see this. Hang on, let me just get that. I'll show you my notes. So, yeah, some ideas is like highlight player created content more. Let me just zoom this in. Oh, there we go. Oh, whoa, whoa. What the hell did I do? What is going on? I zoomed in too much. Zoom back out. Anyway, yeah, highlight the player created content more. Streamers have the ability to fix some of these things, you know, with comp. I mean, they can't do anything about SR and MMR and team names and team building, but they can do things like scrims and tournaments. And I wish like people like Stylosa and SVB and I don't know if Jane is still doing Overwatch stuff, but he used to run like player run events. I would like to see streamers do this for more of the lower level players. You know, get some people to, you know, together and do a tournament for like lower level people, or teaching people how to play the game. You know, like just in scrims or tournaments, just do you know, you don't have to, you know, a lot of these streamers, the big streamers, are making decent money. Hire someone who can do some like workshop changes and make a, you know, a small challenge or tournament or something, and host that tournament. You know, I miss the days of Total Biscuit running StarCraft stuff like that. He used to put together StarCraft events on his own time, on his own dollar, and he was not making as many viewers as someone like Stylosa or whatnot. So, you know, they could do that kind of thing to help the community until we get some support from the developers to do that stuff. But, you know, that's a lot of work. I don't blame someone for not doing that. You know, it's easier to just get online and make some content. So that's what I'm doing right now. So anyway, yeah, a little bit about World of Warcraft. I mean, it has been being killed by Final Fantasy, and you know, it hasn't been fun to play for a long time. It's just been putting in so much tedium into the game that was already pretty tedious back when I played it, and I stopped playing around before Legion. So that's the first expansion I didn't buy. And you know, even before that, it was like every expansion we were just like, okay, we played through the content, we didn't even get to the level cap, or we didn't finish the content before we reached the level cap, and still had to like do a bunch of bullshit to get flying again. We just got sick of it. We're casual players. We don't raid, we don't PvP. We just wanted to play the game to level up and see the content. And the content, you know, was interesting for a while, but it gets a little bit dull even on its own, just doing it once, and then making you have to do it multiple times just to get something, some tiny increase in your stats. It just made the game not fun. And you know, they're so worried about everybody burning through the content so quickly, they added all these systems to make people slow down and have to take longer and redo stuff, and re-get your most prized possession, which was flying. Like, we already got that when we got it. It was so awesome. When flying first came to WoW, we were like, oh, it's so cool. Went out, did all the stuff you needed to earn it, earned it, and then we had to try and earn it again for each other character, and then they did account-wide stuff to make that not necessary. But then we still had to like earn it back every expansion. It was like, I want to just do it from day one. I don't want to walk around the world again every time a new expansion comes out. I spent a lot of time working on getting flying 4 times now, I think. So I think WoW just needs to chill out and let people just play the game or not. Like, back off on how much you're going to make them do that's tedious, and just let them play the game. Have fun with it. You know, people will make their own things to do. They're not going to just play through the content and then stop. Well, I mean, that's what we did, but so what? We paid our money just like everybody else. If that's all we have time for, that's all we want to do, fine. At least we felt accomplished when we did it. But I would not log into the game every day just to do daily quests. Like, that's not fun. Not what I want. I signed up for the game to do. I want to feel like a hero, you know, and be powerful and do cool things and level up my character. And grinding hundreds of hours just to get one thing or an increase in a stat that is only gives you access to one part of the game. And we never even got to the point where we could even do dungeons or group out with people and get into the rating. It's like just the barriers for entry for that, the amount of time investment to get the minimum requirements of what you need to get in there, gear wise and stuff. Even if we had the WoW money, it was too much. I didn't want to spend it on that because I didn't even know if I'd like it. So let people experience that stuff. It doesn't cost you anything to just give it to people. Like, I know a lot of people would get mad because they put in the time already, but slowly just take away the barriers. Let people play the game the way they want to play it, and stop trying to make them do boring shit. And that's what Final Fantasy does. I think they just let you play the game. They have a lot more stuff to do, and then just widen the range. Like, I think the original ideas that Blizzard gave to WoW for making players have more stuff to do was like building your base. Like, that was a cool idea, but it was so scripted that a lot of people just stopped caring about it. They couldn't arrange the base the way they wanted to. Let people be more creative. Let them place the things in their base that they want, and earn new things to put in their base wherever they want. Put things on the walls, or give them teleporters and stuff. Like, just let them do what they want to do. Be creative and stop trying to control everything. And in Final Fantasy, you can buy a house and you can decorate it how you want. You can do it with a group, or you can do it on your own. Like, just do more of that stuff. Community building means that's the stupid thing too. You can build up your garrison, but you can't show it to anybody. And even if you did, they say, "Oh yeah, I put that. I bought this thing instead of that thing, but my base looks exactly like yours." And also, you put it in an expansion that was only about orcs. Like, who wants their base to look like an orc base? I don't know what the alliance side of it is. I never did that, but it's pretty much you're in an orc base, and even if you're an alliance guy, like, that's dumb. People who play alliance probably didn't care for that. So just make it. Let players customize it how they want. And Final Fantasy is killing on them because of having all those things already built. So WoW just needs to adjust to be more flexible and less, catering to the small group of high-level players who play the end game content. Like, yeah, those guys need stuff too, but the rest of us who don't want to do that, or just think it's too hard to get there, get us involved somehow so that we can get there fairly easily, and join in with that. It doesn't need to be just the elite players. I know they like it that way, but if you want your game to be successful, you're going to need to make it open to more people. Look at the success of games like Minecraft. Like, that's people playing together and being creative together and sharing their content. I don't even know if people even play Minecraft the way it originally was planned to be, with like fighting the creatures and stuff. I think most people more use it as a creative tool than anything. But I'm not a Minecraft player, so I don't even know anything about that. Anyway, I'm gonna end the stream here on that note. Yeah, if you have any comments, I'm gonna post this to my YouTube channel as well, so check that out. I'm not running a charity anymore, but I may start up a charity account again. I didn't make much off that I didn't make much for the charity last time I did it, so I don't know if I just don't have enough audience, or if people just don't care about that kind of stuff. So I'll see if I can do that. But I am still doing game contests on my D&D night on Tuesday nights, so definitely check that out. Come back and see my D&D game. We're having a lot of fun with the arena right now, and my custom arena sport called Juggernaut, based on a movie you might know. If you know it, let me know in the comments. That'd be cool. Alright, have a good night, everyone, and I will see you on Vampire Logan Auspex next time. Oh yeah, and I'm still planning to do the Critical Role, but now I'm already behind 2 episodes, so I don't know if I can keep up with that. I have some notes that I wanted to talk about on the last 2 episodes, which I kind of watched together anyway, so maybe tomorrow night, or if I have any other time over the weekend, I might do that video and catch up. If not, maybe I'll just do it as I, notice things, and just I won't do a full coverage of the episode. Maybe I'll just pop on whenever I see something funny in there and just make a note of it. Alright, have a good night or morning, everyone, and I will see you next time.
We're making progress.